This video is sponsored by Skillshare. It's getting to that time of the year again, it's getting cold, the days are getting shorter, and I get really reflective at this time because I like to think about what's going to come next year. What dietary requirement am I going to list? What fitness regime am I going to give up by February? These things make me reflective because I feel that every year I need to change my lifestyle in a way that avoids me getting to this point by December, which is tired. I cannot wait more than anything just to go home and have a bit of time off. And I think while this has been the best year of my career so far, there are probably still steps that I can take to avoid burnout, which is something that I've really experienced, especially over the last month or so. I think as someone who's full-time as a composer, producer, and musician, I can say that I'm incredibly fortunate that I get to do what I love doing as a job. As many of you will know, I started my life with music very, very early on. I was just 2 when I got a keyboard for Christmas, and I quickly learned how to play pieces by ear, and I developed perfect pitch by the time I was 4 when I started having lessons. Music has always been in my life, but I reached a bit of a junction point. I was about 16 or 17, I'd finished my GCSEs and I was studying my A-levels, and I knew I was going to study music, but I didn't know if I'd take it on to university. And I was at this junction. I had an opportunity to take the skills that I'd invested and invest them as a down payment on a career in music. If I hadn't done music, I'd have done aeronautical engineering, but I'm very glad I didn't because I was really rubbish at physics. For a long time, music was the thing I could escape to when I didn't want to do the other boring things in my life. I could run away and experiment with learning how to record or create sample libraries or even compose little pieces of my own. There was something really freeing about that, and it was, for all sakes and purposes at that point, a hobby. However, now that I'm in this position of being a full-time composer, producer, and musician, there are times where the work does feel like work, quite naturally because I spend so much time here. But the thing is, how do you escape when the thing you used to escape to has now become your job? Now, the funny thing is, I do actually think this is the dream. This is like being in a relationship with your best friend. High risk, but very high reward. And it has to be said that I will never tire of being in the company of music. But I guess if I'm sitting at my Wurlitzer at the end of a very long day, just trying to decompress, it's a little close to home because I've just had my hands on a keyboard in the studio for 8, 10, or maybe 12 hours. I think the worst thing though is wanting to listen to music and not being able to enjoy it because your ears are so fatigued from listening to music all day. I don't do this too often, but I think we should try and find our physical limitations and then sort of reverse engineer it back into a sort of buffer zone of danger that we can't pass into for too long. Otherwise, we're going to get down the path of becoming burnt out. This could be set out by creating a fairly regimented work-life balance, by blocking out time in your calendar to do various hobbies or activities and make that part of your working day. Or you could set aside time at the weekends and say, I'm going to spend a portion of that Saturday with someone, or I'm going to spend a part of Sunday honing some new hobby or activity. For me, with my YouTube channel, I make these videos on Sundays, and it's a nice way to break up the week. Naturally, YouTube has been one of the biggest kind of distractions from my music, and I've really enjoyed it. Learning how to use cameras, setting up microphones and lights and things like that, learning how to color grade. And all of that has been helped by today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes and millions of community members. Whether you're looking to learn new skills or pursue a passion that you've had for a while, Skillshare has something for everyone. For me, I use Skillshare to learn about all things filmmaking, graphic design, animating, and productivity. Any little skills that I can pass into my YouTube videos that help influence my life in other ways. At the moment, I'm watching a fantastic class by Marques Brownlee, YouTube Success, Script, Shoot and Edit, where he talks you through the process of creating a video from start to finish. And I've learned a lot, not only about his workflow, the way that he manages his files, but also how to, what he calls, hook the audience with the perfect script, or just down to basic kind of editing tips and things like that. I found that class to be really helpful so far. Skillshare is specifically designed for learning, so there are no ads, and they're always adding new premium classes to help take you in a new direction if you become inspired. The first 1,000 subscribers to click on the link down below will get a 1-month free trial at Skillshare so you can start your creative journey today. I think one thing I love about a portfolio career is that you're never doing one thing full time all the time. For me, I'm always jumping between projects, and I think that's pivotal to the success of being able to stay fresh. I would say 4 days a week is the sweet spot if you're working in a company or in a business. I think anything beyond that can be quite stifling. And I think it also makes you the head of your own enterprise, as it were. Outside of that job, if you're still having to work to do other things to pay the bills, at least on those other days of the week, you can pursue your passion and be the head of chasing that creative dream on the outside. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and I will see you again very, very soon. Goodbye.